everybody. Welcome to a Quickie with Miss B. I'm Miss B. Welcome back for another week. Yeah, it's mundane Monday.
Yeah, there's no replacement. There's no,
There's nothing fun about Monday.
I thought about it. There's no real good taco thing for Monday either. There's no taco. You can't have chalupa Monday or
Chalupa Monday.
It doesn't really fit. I don't know, tostada Monday. Nah, it doesn't fit. Nacho Monday. Nah, it doesn't work.
All this week we're going to be talking about would you and fill in the blank. So we're going to have some fun questions.
I imagine there'll be some embarrassing ones here too.
No, I just think stupid would be more the appropriate word.
What was that? Wasn't there a game like that? Could you, would you, should you, or something like that? We used to play when we were kids.
I think so.
Yeah. They have that one now that's very strange. I never have. And it seems like it's not that big a deal, but every one of those questions are horrific. I couldn't believe they let out with, I never have. Now, apparently you get a beer. Mm-hmm. And you have to tell the truth. Or your friends will tell on you if they know, and if they do, you have to pound the whole beer.
Oh.
So you have the beer in your hand, everyone's like, and they go, never, ever have I, and they'll go licked somebody's toes, and you'll watch 6 people drink beers, and you have to realize that the 6 people who drank those beers all had people's toes in their mouths. And you're like, you people are messed up. So one of these weeks we got to have that go on, but we'll have to do coffee or proverbially tell everybody else to drink a beer, but.
Well, there was a similar game that was like that where you told 2 lies and a truth. You said, never have I, and then put it out there.
It's called
2 truths and a lie?
2 truths and a lie, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'd be like...
you have to guess the right one?
Yeah, if they said, never have I ever not cussed at somebody. I have never cussed at somebody. I have never written a book. Mm-hmm. I have never yelled at David, who's the author. 2 of those are truth. So you have to go, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. And that's when you start realizing, well, I know if they didn't do that, but that would mean that wow, you've actually...
Yeah.
Wow, you did that? Holy crap.
We should do that for this show sometime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. 2 truths and a lie. You're like, they'll be like, I've never hung around Hugh Hefner, and I've never hung around this famous person. And then they go, I've never catched my fart and painted it green. You're like, well, hold on. Well, apparently I know which one's the lie. So that would mean the other 2 are truths? What? That's what used to get...
Yeah, the reaction.
Oh, yeah, that's what used to get me, because they love to just hand you an obvious lie. And you're like, wait a minute, that means... Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So onward, now that I've robbed 2 minutes of your time.
Okay, so here's the first question. Would you ride a motorcycle sidecar?
Okay. Now, this one is kind of scary for me.
That's why I picked it.
Because I would put my kid in a motorcycle car, and I love my child, but I would be in charge of driving. Now, if somebody else was in charge of driving, and they went, I'm going to drive this, you hang off the side and trust me. It's to hang off the side and trust me that I have difficulty with.
Oh,
because not only am I trusting you, I'm trusting everybody else who's whizzing past you not to just clip me off.
But I'm a good driver. I ride motorcycle. I do a good job.
Yeah, anybody who says I ride motorcycle, I do job. Yeah, no. See, right off the bat, I'm like, you didn't have time to finish the sentence. So how do I know you're going to waste time with a blinker? Yeah, I would. Yeah, we're thinking I might. Yeah, no, not for me. No. Yeah. You can get in my sidecar. I'll be like, it's me. Me getting in your sidecar, I'm gonna be like, the problem is it's you. So
there's nothing wrong with me. I know how to ride.
Yeah, but if you're driving, you're one of those. I'm in charge. I'm driving. You're not gonna want a side seat driver, and I'm gonna be a side seat. I'm gonna listen, Christine. I know this.
That kind of goes without saying, John. Most people don't want to be a backseat driver, nor should they be a side seat driver.
Can you imagine me attached by 2 bolts and a wheel to the side of a motorcycle that you're doing 70 on, and me screaming, "You don't have to do the speed limit. There are no laws that say you've got to do 70." Oh my God! I would never. I don't care if baby Jesus was driving. I would not get on the highway. I'd be like, I know who you are, but we're not getting on the highway because there are people going by at 100 that just don't care about me. So.
I'm laughing so hard, I'm joking. Well, not only that, but those sidecars aren't very big. And you're a tall person, so you
thanks an awful lot. She's like, I'm going to need some lube and a couple shoehorns, and I'll squeeze them in there, no problem.
You're gonna hear, because you're tall. Do you ever see how small those sidecars are? Well, they make them for little people, I swear to God.
Number one, it would have to be a long sidecar, because the biggest issue for me, I'm not going to be cropped up sitting with my knees up. No. The top hole is going to have to be able to have me exit at an alarming rate of speed. Because if I wedge in there and you start flipping this thing and I can't get out, Christine's laying on the ground, the gas tank's leaking, the flames are everywhere, and I'm stuck inside a tube with a wheel on it, I'm going to be losing my freaking mind.
Just saying. Yeah. They're not kind to chunky monkey people or tall people.
And since I represent both of those, thank you very much. It's a bad. But see, for me, on a motorcycle, period, is going to be like tooling around the town. I'm not putting my son on the back of a bike, hopping on 80-mile-an-hour highway and just tooling on. No. There's no. I need a.
Well, I don't really like. Yeah.
I want a support cage so that I know, because people get hit all the time, and you hear the tales. He got hit, skidded on his back for like 160 feet. Thank God he had his leather on. Yeah, it still burned his back and it went through the leather. But imagine what would have happened if he hadn't had it on. He wouldn't have a spine, And you're like, yeah, I'm going to put my kid on that. Okay, yeah.
And on that note, we need to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Well, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Quickie with Miss B.
Everybody else knew that. It's just you didn't know it. That was the problem.
All this week we're talking about would you and fill in the blank. If you missed the first half of the episode, please go back and check that out. And as always, thanks so much for joining us.
And it was alarming, like you figured it would
be. Okay, so here's another one.
Oh, joy. I'm excited,
Would you ride in a smart car?
Yes. Now, as long as it wasn't like... Now, you remember I told you the story about my friend Max, who showed up to get me from the airport. Now, Max is a very small Frenchman. Very, very... He's kind of a famous guy. He worked for me. I was very honored to have him work for me. Work with me. He didn't work for me. He was a tailor. And he is a survivor of Auschwitz. So, he was a pretty amazing guy. And one day I was just whining about I was going to have to get a taxi, come all the way back to the store. I'll pick you up. It's not fair. Because Max is an old guy. It's not fair to have you get up and go over. I'll get you. I come to work early. What? I'm going to work a half hour? Whatever. I go skiing sometimes. I have to get up very, very early. So I get you. So, all right. He shows up. And as I approach the car, I'm a little in awe, because this is like a Le car. And I'm not sure how we're going to do this. And then I become very sure by not knowing when my two bags may not fit in the trunk. I'm like, so that's like 4 bags of groceries would waste the entire trunk. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he manages to get it in there and just get it closed, and I'm seeing, like that's a lot of pressure on the back of it. So then he has me get inside, and he opens the front door. We open the front door. I go to sit in. Literally, the roof of the car is at the bottom of my ear. I said, do the seats go down? He goes, go down? Oh, the seats don't go down. It's not an elevator. I'm like, okay, but I'm going like this. I'm tapping my head on the door. But Max, he said, oh, you have to bend your head. I'm like, I'm smart enough to know that. But I'm also smart enough to look in front of me and see that slope, and my head isn't going to go all the way. I need to put my head in my lap and slide in sideways, and I guess hope for the best.
So this car?
I do this. I slide in, but my other leg now will not come in the car. So
this is smaller than a smart car.
So no, it has a back seat, which I end up now. Apparently, I can't lay across the back seat either because I don't fit. So I have to try to fetal position in the back seat, laying down, and the seats don't even go back. I mean, number one, there's nowhere for them to go back. So I'm pressed, and now my luggage is pressed against me from the back of the trunk, and Max's seat. I'm wedged in there. He's pushing the door closed because my feet aren't quite in, and he slammed the door shut. I am now sardine canned in the back of a LeCar, and we got to go like 5 miles, and I cannot handle not being in control. And trust me, in this moment, I am in a cocoon. I am in no control of anything. I am laying in the fetal position with my head on one door and my feet wedged in the other door, and he's like, okay, hang on. And I'm like, and everything seems magnified. And that's when you realize that French guys learned how to drive in France. And people who drive in France are, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, psychos. And, he starts the whole French thing. When he gets angry, he's like, someone cuts him off. Muy bien, très bien. You're like, what is he... And your head's starting to move a little bit, and I'm getting a little freedom of my head, but it's smacking against the back of the car. I'm like, we've only got to go like 5 miles, and I feel like I could die. It's like every wacko that would upset him is on the road today while I'm in the sardine can known as LeCar. And why do you have to put me in a car that's named French anyways?
What was the LeCar about the same size as a smart car?
Yeah, but it's like take the smart car and just cut it in half, add 6 inches to it, but pretend that's enough for a back seat, and then push me in there. It was like if you needed to carry 25 envelopes, this was great. But if you wanted a 6'1" fat guy, it just didn't work. So yes, I was wedged in his car. I mean, when I first sat down, the bottom of my ear is resting on my earlobe is resting on top of the hood of the car. Not the hood, the roof. I'm like,
the roof.
I can't get. And it's such a dramatic slant. It's like, well, bend down, and as you bend down, almost flat, you're like, well, now my head's on the dashboard. How do I get? You got to put move in, bend your, and like I do not. This is not origami, okay? This is a 6'1" fat guy, not origami. I'm not paper. You're not folding me, pal. And we managed to get me in there, but my other leg would not literally lift up and fit inside. I had to figure out how to put my knee needed to go inside my mouth, so there was enough room for it to. It wasn't happening. He's like, just lay down in the back. I'm like, well, if I can't compress in the front, how do you figure lay down in the back's going to work? Have you looked behind the seat?
I just want to know, how did you get out of the vehicle?
Oh, no joke. He literally opened the door, and I couldn't turn around, so I told him to open his door, the passenger side. I mean, the passenger side on him. I pulled my way out. You saw a guy like an inchworm coming out the side of it, and then I landed on the sidewalk, and he's like, I need my camera. I'm like, I need my camera. He's like, I never seen anybody act like you. Why do you act like this? I'm like, you picked me up in a thimble. You asked me to get in a thimble, and you're confused why I can't get in. He's like, I drive every day. You are half the size of a thimble. So yes, logic says you'll fit. But I mean, the seat belts took up a lot of room in the back seat. The seat belts took up a lot of room. You're like, gosh, man, who came up with this? It would be fine if it was a front seat and a back seat. I mean, no, just two front seats. You could do it. But the whole back seat thing was like, well, we could shave off, I don't know, half a foot of the front seats. And, I mean, if you got hit on this thing, that dashboard was in your teeth.
I have no doubt about that. And on that note, we need to be done because we're going to go for a ride in a smart car.
Oh, great. Translation, I'm dead.